So if you just look at BPA and phthalates, exposure to these two more commonly studied endocrine disrupting chemicals is linked to issues with sperm health, so the count, number of sperm, and the quality of sperm, as well as overall fertility in males and females. And the phthalates and BPAs are also linked to childhood asthma, so think about children's water bottles, children's squishy toys, immune response inflammation, and later in life, metabolic diseases like type 2 diabetes, liver dysfunction, and endocrine sensitive cancers. And some issues with menopause as well, which is not surprising because women entering menopause now have had a good 20, 30, 40, 50 years to be ingesting these chemicals. The main hormones disrupted with these chemicals, there are three of them. So we've got estrogens, androgens, and thyroid hormones. So these are all really important for all stages of life. Obviously, girls need estrogen to develop at puberty. Boys need testosterone and androgens to develop at puberty, but they're also very important for women in midlife. And it could be said that women over 35 today, the Gen X generation, the millennials, are really bearing the brunt of a chemical overload at a time in their lives when inflammation, chronic disease, mental health, body image, and a lot of other important facets of health are proving to be pretty challenging anyway. Perimenopause, the 12 years before menopause, that can be very challenging with all of those conditions and chronic inflammation. And there's also a natural increase in fat cells in women throughout perimenopause, and fat cells provides more storage for those chemicals compared to women in premenopause, women who are not displaying any of the symptoms associated with perimenopause or menopause. Research and awareness around the health risks of exposure to bisphenol A, BPA, phthalates, polychlorinated bisphenols, PCBs, there's a lot of these, aren't there? The per and the polyfluorinated alkyl substances, the PFAS. You would have seen references to these on things like non-stick cookware. And then the polybrominated diethyl ethers, PBDEs, and a host of other dangerous chemicals is actually growing. There are initiatives in Australia at the moment, like the Global Plastic Treaty, which you can find at www.globalplastictreaty.com. They're popping up, and there's a growing movement towards foraging, wildcrafting, ecologically sustainable approaches to nourishing our body and getting the food that we need, but also caring for our hormones and caring for our health and our fertility. So enter here the rewilding movement. And the rewilding movement is really a return to nature physically, but also nutritionally and spiritually. So let's talk about rewilding. Let's explain it, define it, and look at some of its benefits. At its core, rewilding is about returning to a more natural state of being. And you can think of it like the act of remembering that we come from nature, that we're not separate from nature, that we are nature. And for all of us, including women, but particularly women, rewilding offers this powerful invitation to live and operate more in sync with the rhythms of the earth, the rhythms of the moon, the cycles of nature, the seasonal aspects of nature, and to take this as an opportunity to tune into the wisdoms of our own bodies. So let's talk about the first use of the word rewilding. So we go back 30 years ago, about 1991. There was a project in North America called the Wildlands Project, and this is where the term first was coined and used. And traditionally, rewilding was very much about how we're treating natural habitats because we're trying to rewild. And it referred very much to the process of restoring wildlands and reintroducing native species to those habitats. Over the last 20 years, however, as rewilding started to move into the public sphere and it's gaining traction, we're talking about it, the meaning of the term actually has become a lot more plastic excuse the irony here, but meaning more malleable. So rewilding as a term now is being applied to people. It's a call to us, to you and I personally, to de-domesticate ourselves, and also to question the highly processed, highly scheduled, over-medicated systems that we've become used to. And instead, to seek nourishment, to seek healing, to seek clarity from the wild once again. So this is the call, that we can choose to answer.